Almost every football player in the world hopes to one day play in the World Cup. Many professional athletes have been moved to tears by the prospect of playing for their country on the world's biggest stage. Just look at Lewandowski lately and what it meant to him to score his first World Cup goal. That is the purpose of the tournament. However, after being granted permission to host in 2010, Qatar's edition has stood apart from the rest due to a number of scandals. This has caused a lot of uneasiness among the top players, with some of them even reporting that they feel dangerous in Qatar. Some have spoken up, while others might be too terrified to do so. Let's examine the reasons why some of our favourite players are nervous about the host country and hear what those who have spoken out about it have to say. Hello and welcome to Goalside. In today's video, we'll discuss why footballers are feeling unsafe and scared in Qatar. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and turn on the post notifications. So without wasting any time, let's dive right into the video. The chief executive of the 2022 World Cup has assured Australia's first openly gay footballer, Josh Cavallo, that he has nothing to worry about after he voiced safety concerns about his potential participation in Qatar. Adelaide United's Cavallo made history in October when he became the first active A-League player to come out as gay, and was met with widespread support from both his fellow athletes and the league's fans. As The Guardian reported, Cavallo is scared to play in the 2022 World Cup in Qatar because homosexual acts are illegal there. The 22-year-old has been part of Australia's youth team but hasn't been promoted to the senior squad. Nasser Al-Khater, the World Cup's chief executive, told CNN, "On the contrary, we welcome him here in the state of Qatar. We welcome him to come and see even prior to the World Cup. Here, no one feels unsafe or threatened. Those who say residents lack a sense of security have not been here long enough to know better. It bears repeating that everyone is welcome here. Everyone should feel safe. Tolerance is highly valued in Qatar, the people are very friendly, and the atmosphere is very relaxed." After Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton showed his support for the LGBTQ+ community at the Qatar Grand Prix, Al-Khater said that visitors to the country would not face persecution of any sort. Qatar has been under fire for its treatment of migrant workers and working conditions as it prepared to host the World Cup in November and December of 2019. Knowing that the World Cup will be held in Qatar, a country that does not support gay people and puts us at risk of our own life, is frightening and causes me to question whether or not my life is more important than doing something really good in my career. Cavallo made it clear that playing in Qatar would make him feel threatened. "I read something along the lines of that they give the death penalty for gay people in Qatar, so it's something I'm very scared of and wouldn't really want to go to Qatar for that," he said. "That makes me very sad. Knowing that I will be participating in the World Cup, one of the pinnacles of a professional footballer's career, in a country that doesn't support gay people and puts us at risk of our own life, is terrifying and causes me to question whether or not my life is more valuable than achieving professional success." Cavallo isn't the only athlete who has to make this decision. He's reportedly been approached in private by other closeted footballers who are nervous about coming out. There are fellow professional football players who have reached out to me privately to say, "I'm struggling with the same thing, Josh. Look, you can't be in a hurry about this." Ultimately, he realized, "You want to be yourself, and at the end of the day I wasn't happy, and now look at me. I'm honestly on top of the world." They like the sound of that, and they say things like, "Josh, I haven't experienced that before and I want to." My response is always the same. It's in your hands, it's your journey, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't think so at first, but now I see that there is. Qatari officials are trying to reassure the public that LGBTQ+ players and fans will be safe at the tournament, which is understandable, but not a reason to dismiss Cavallo's concerns. According to The Guardian, LGBTQ+ advocates have not found any evidence of people being executed for violating the country's ban on same-sex relations. Whether or not athletes in Qatar have confidence in being protected if they speak out about human rights concerns. SGBs like FIFA and the IOC are playing a very risky double game by openly engaging with such regimes and at the same time trying to silence athletes, as more and more MSEs are being held in nations openly engaging in sports washing. To protect the neutrality of the sport and the Olympic Games, the IOC has consistently enforced bans on protests from the podium and in the arena at recent Olympics in Tokyo and Beijing. Many athlete activists believe that silence constitutes censorship and not neutrality. Human rights defenders, those who publicly and lawfully advocate for an end to human rights abuse through non-violent means, are an integral part of the international human rights discourse and are thus acknowledged by the UNGPs. athlete activists are undeniably human rights defenders and face some unique vulnerabilities due to their profiles and the visibility of sport, as shown by the targeting of athlete activists in connection with sport by repressive states like Afghanistan, Bahrain, Belarus, and Iran. Players who competed in qualifying matches for the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar showed a high level of awareness during the tournament about the negative effects on human rights that the event would have throughout its entire life cycle, from the corrupt awarding of the tournament in 2010 by FIFA to its legacy after 2022. Finnish writer Tim Sparv has done a fantastic job of capturing the players' perspective after speaking with BWI and FIFPro members and their families in Qatar. Sparv just wishes more players would speak up about it, despite there being consequences and backlash, and knowing players who know they'll be in big trouble if they speak out on issues like Qatar. They're scared. He's also aware that players have the potential to radically alter not only FIFA and football, but the entire state of Qatar. FIFA president Gianni Infantino said that Jadon Sancho, who received a yellow card for demonstrating on the field for justice for George Floyd, should have gotten an applause, not a punishment for his actions. There has been a worrying shift in the conversation away from respect for human rights and toward respect for the state of Qatar, as the start of the actual football in Qatar drew near. The practice of sports washing is likely to accelerate in the coming months. President of the Norwegian Football Federation, Lisa Klaveness, received harsh criticism after she spoke out about the awarding of the World Cup to Qatar at the March 2022 FIFA Congress, citing human rights concerns. Officials said this is not the place, and the Supreme Committee insisted she study the topic before commenting. Shortly after, Infantino claimed FIFA's actions had restored dignity and pride to the abused migrant workers in Qatar. Players run the risk of being seen as ignorant, uncaring, or even benefiting from the human rights atrocities, including the deaths that occurred during the construction of the stadiums in which they play, even if they choose not to speak out about it. Consequently, a player's silence may give the wrong impression about his or her commitment to human rights. When players speak out for human rights, they can count on FIFPro and the World Players Association to have their backs. Both organizations will work to ensure that players' right to freedom of expression is respected, as stipulated by FIFA's own statutes and international law. When you hear players say things like, "It's not safe for us to go to Qatar," what are your thoughts on those reasons? Tell us in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.